Dear student, up till now we covered about combustion, combustible and non-combustible substances, type of combustion, conditions necessary for combustion. In that we saw three conditions. First, presence of combustible substance, then supporter of combustion and the availability of ignition temperature. Then we saw about fire extinguisher, types of fire extinguisher. Now next we are going to discuss about flame and zones of the candle flame. Combustion of hydrocarbons can be of two types: complete combustion and incomplete combustion. The hydrocarbons are the compounds of carbon and hydrogen such as LPG, methane, petrol, natural gas. The combustion in which sufficient amount of air or oxygen is there is known as complete combustion, and in complete combustion carbon dioxide, water, heat and light are formed. So what is the complete combustion? जिसमें sufficient amount of oxygen होता है और उसके रिएक्शन के बाद क्या प्रोड्यूस होता है? कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, वाटर, हीट और लाइट प्रोड्यूस होती है. अब हम इनकम्प्लीट कंबशन के बारे में देखेंगे. दिस टाइप ऑफ कंबशन टेक्स प्लेस इन इनएडिक्वेट अमाउंट ऑफ एयर और ऑक्सीजन. मीन्स इस टाइप के कंबशन में सप्लाई ऑफ ऑक्सीजन ज़्यादा नहीं होता है और इट रिजल्ट्स इन द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड, सूट, वाटर, हीट एंड लाइट. तो इसमें क्या प्रोड्यूस होता है रिएक्शन के बाद? कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड, जो कि हमारे लिए बहुत ही हार्मफुल गैस है. सूट, वाटर, हीट और लाइट प्रोड्यूस होता है. क्या? इनकम्प्लीट कंबशन. दिस टाइप ऑफ कंबशन टेक्स प्लेस in insufficient amount of air or oxygen and it results in the formation of carbon monoxide, soot, water, heat and light. Flame. A flame is a region where combustion of fuels takes place. Color of a flame depends upon temperature, amount of air available and the nature of substance burning. हाइड्रोकार्बन्स जो है जब वो बर्न होते हैं तो वो ब्लू या तो और येलो फ्लेम प्रोड्यूस करते हैं और ये किसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है? सप्लाई ऑफ ऑक्सीजन. अगर सफिशिएंट सप्लाई ऑफ ऑक्सीजन होगा तो वो ब्लू कलर की फ्लेम प्रोड्यूस करेगा और अगर इनसफिशिएंट सप्लाई ऑफ ऑक्सीजन है तो वो येलो कलर जो है की फ्लेम प्रोड्यूस करेगा. अब ये सब्सटेंस जो है कंबस्टिबल सब्सटेंस कब फ्लेम प्रोड्यूस करते हैं? जब वो वेपराइज होते हैं एट द टाइम ऑफ बर्निंग. जैसे एग्जाम्पल लूँ, कोल है तो कोल जो है वो फ्लेम प्रोड्यूस नहीं करता है बट कैंडल जो है वो क्या फ्लेम प्रोड्यूस करती है. क्यों? बिकॉज दिस सब्सटेंस वेपराइज ड्यूरिंग बर्निंग. सो कैंडल है, एलपीजी इन द गैस स्टव है, बर्न्स विद द फ्लेम एज दे वेपराइज ड्यूरिंग बर्निंग. बट ऑन द अदर हैंड कोल जो है दे डू नॉट गेट वेपराइज, सो ऑन बर्निंग दे जस्ट ग्लो रेड and give out heat without producing any flame. So this is the example where the flame will be produced and where the flame will not be produced. अभी हमने देखा कि हाइड्रोकार्बन्स बर्न होते हैं तो वो ब्लू या तो येलो फ्लेम प्रोड्यूस करते हैं. अब हम देखेंगे कैरेक्टरिस्टिक क्या है येलो और ब्लू फ्लेम की. ब्लू फ्लेम को हम जो है नॉन ल्यूमिनस फ्लेम कहते हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि वो जो है बहुत लिटिल लाइट प्रोड्यूस करता है और इसमें सप्लाई ऑफ ऑक्सीजन जो है वो अवेलेबल है, इसीलिए कंप्लीट कंबशन होता है. दूसरा, इस टाइप की फ्लेम में जो है कोई भी प्रकार का रेसिड्यू या तो सूट जो है प्रोड्यूस नहीं होता है। सो क्या क्या कैरेक्टरिस्टिक होगी ब्लू फ्लेम की, कि ब्लू फ्लेम को हम नॉन ल्यूमिनस फ्लेम कहेंगे एज इट अमिट्स वेरी लिटिल लाइट। और ब्लू फ्लेम कब ऑब्जर्व होगी? व्हेन देयर इज अ सफिशिएंट सप्लाई ऑफ ऑक्सीजन। नाउ विल सी द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक ऑफ येलो फ्लेम। येलो फ्लेम को हम क्या कहते हैं? ल्यूमिनस फ्लेम। अब ल्यूमिनस फ्लेम क्या करेगी? तो कि लाइट जो है अमिट करेगी। ल्यूमिनस फ्लेम कब देखेंगे? जब इनसफिशिएंट सप्लाई ऑफ ऑक्सीजन होगा और उसका टेम्परेचर इन कंपेयर टू ब्लू फ्लेम विल बी लो। सो लेट अस नाउ स्टडी zones of a candle. The outer zone. The outer zone of the flame is blue in color and the hottest part of the flame. It is also called non-luminous zone as very little light is produced. In this zone, the vapors of wax burns completely in sufficient amount of oxygen. Middle zone. The middle zone of the flame is yellow in color because of incomplete combustion of wax vapors. It is moderately hot. This zone emits most of the light, thus it is known as luminous zone. The inner zone. The inner zone of the flame is black in color and it is the coldest part of the flame. This zone emits no light, thus it is dark. Student, we have just discussed about flame and zones of the candle. Now my question is, which part of the flame is used by goldsmith for melting gold and silver? Yes, the answer is goldsmith usually uses the outermost non-luminous flame for melting gold and silver because it is the hottest part of the flame. Now let us see an activity which proves that carbon dioxide is produced on burning candle wax.
Have you ever wanted to put out a candle without touching or blowing at it? We're going to show you how. Carbon dioxide and candle experiment. What you'll need is a tumbler, candle, some baking powder, some vinegar, and a matchbox. Place the candle on the surface and light it. Now take a tumbler. Now pour some vinegar into the tumbler. Put some baking powder into the tumbler. Now take the tumbler near the candle. What do you observe? The candle blows out. The reason behind it is the acetic acid present in the vinegar react with sodium bicarbonate in the baking powder to form carbonic acid. Carbonic acid is unstable in nature and it falls apart into carbon dioxide and water, carrying a decomposition reaction. The bubbles are formed due to the reaction from carbon dioxide that is escaping out of the tumbler. Carbon dioxide puts out the fire. So, when the tumbler with escaping CO2 is taken near the candle, it blows out.
फ्यूल्स, जो सब्सटेंस को हम जलाते हैं तो वो हीट और लाइट एनर्जी प्रोड्यूस करते हैं, उसे हम फ्यूल्स कहते हैं। कोल, वुड, काउडंग केक, पेट्रोल, डीजल, ये सारे के सारे फ्यूल्स हैं। क्यों? जब उसे हम जलाएंगे तो वो हीट और लाइट एनर्जी प्रोड्यूस करेंगे, इसीलिए हम इसे क्या कहेंगे? फ्यूल्स कहेंगे। सो substances that produce heat and light energy on burning are called as fuels, and we use them for cooking, heating, in running automobiles and generation of electricity. Based on their physical state, Fuels can be classified as solid fuels, liquid fuels, and gaseous fuels. Solid fuels. Fuels that exist in solid state at room temperature are called solid fuels. Wood, cow dung cake, agricultural waste, coal, coke, all are examples of solid fuels as they exist in solid state at room temperature. Liquid fuels, kerosene, petrol, diesel are all called as liquid fuels as they exist in liquid state at room temperature. Now the next is gaseous fuel. Fuels that exist in gaseous state at room temperature are known as gaseous fuel. Petrol gas, natural gas, biogas are all included in gaseous fuel. Calorific value. Calorific value of a fuel is defined as the amount of heat produced in kilojoules when 1 gram of fuel is completely burned. The unit for representing calorific value is kilojoules and it is expressed in kilojoules per gram. अब ये कैलोरीफिक वैल्यू क्या है? द अमाउंट ऑफ हीट प्रोड्यूस होती है जब 1 ग्राम ऑफ फ्यूल को हम कंप्लीटली बर्न करते हैं, उसे हम कैलोरीफिक वैल्यू कहते हैं. हायर द कैलोरीफिक वैल्यू ऑफ अ फ्यूल, बेटर फ्यूल इट इज. Amongst various fuels, hydrocarbon has highest calorific value. So, it is considered as ideal fuel. और ये हाइड्रोजन की कैलोरीफिक वैल्यू क्या है? तो के 150 किलो जूल पर ग्राम. Now, a question is, out of hydrogen gas, cow dung cake and LPG, which is a better fuel? Yes, answer is hydrogen gas is a better fuel out of them as its calorific value is highest of all, that is 150 kilojoule per gram. What are the characteristics of a good fuel? First, it should have a high calorific value. Now student, what do you mean by calorific value? Calorific value is amount of heat produced when 1 kg of fuel is completely burned is known as its calorific value. It is expressed in kilojoules per kg. Higher the calorific value of a fuel, better fuel it is. Amongst various fuels, hydrogen has highest calorific value. So, it is considered as an ideal fuel. Now, let's see the second characteristic. It should have a moderate rate of combustion and should release heat in a controlled manner. Next, it should be fairly cheap and easily available. Another one, it should be safe to handle, store and transport. Next characteristic, it does not leave behind any undesirable substance. And the last one, it should not cause any pollution on burning. But not all fuels can fulfill every one of this characteristic. Fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are formed from the buried remains of plants and animals over a period of millions of years. Coal, petroleum, and natural gas are examples of fossil fuels. Natural resources can be divided into following two types. First, inexhaustible natural resources. These are the resources of which there is a limitless supply. Sunlight, air are the examples. The second one is exhaustible natural resources. These are the resources whose supply is limited. Their overuse should therefore be avoided. Fossil fuels, forest and wildlife are the examples of exhaustible natural resources. Fossil fuel which we are going to discuss now is coal. Coal was formed from the remains of plants that grew in warm, humid swamps 300 to 400 million years ago. Coal is a solid and a hard fossil fuel which is generally black or brownish black in color. It is used as a fuel for cooking, and in earlier times it was used to run steam engines. It is used for thermal power generation, and it is prime requirement in iron and steel industry. Now, depending on its carbon content, it can be of three main types. First one, anthracite. It has a carbon content of more than 86%, and it is regarded as a highest grade of coal. It is mainly used for heating purposes. Second one is bituminous coal. It has a carbon content of around 70 to 86%, and it is primarily used for power generation. The third one is lignite. It has a carbon content of around 60 to 70%, and it is regarded as the lowest grade of coal. It is mainly used for power generation. So anthracite is regarded as a highest grade of coal and lignite as a lowest grade of coal because of its carbon contents are different. On further processing, coal leads to the formation of some useful products such as coke, coal tar and coal gas. Coke. It is hard, dry fuel produced by heating bituminous coal to a very high temperature in the absence of air. Coke has a high carbon content and it is used as a fuel and in steel manufacture. Second, coal tar. It is thick, black, opaque fluid obtained as a byproduct of the process of manufacturing coke. It is used in anti-dandruff shampoo, ointments, soap, perfumes, etc. The last one, coal gas. It is a gaseous fuel obtained as a byproduct of the process of manufacturing coke. Coal gas is mainly used as a fuel in industries. Petroleum. Petroleum is a complex mixture of solid, liquid and gaseous hydrocarbons. Petroleum or crude oil were formed from the remains of tiny marine plants and animals. When these organisms died, their bodies sank to the seabed and were covered by fine sand, clay and other material and deposited as sediments. Bacteria turn them into petroleum and natural gas under high pressure and enormous heat. Petroleum and natural gas then seeped through the porous rocks such as sandstone and reached the impermeable rocks and were trapped below it. Our next topic is extraction and refining of petroleum. Petroleum and natural gas are extracted by drilling wells through impermeable rocks. Petroleum or crude oil is a mixture of various components such as petroleum gas, diesel, petrol, lubricating oil, paraffin wax. These components are separated from petroleum in a process called as refining of petroleum. This process is carried out in petroleum refineries where it is heated to a temperature about 400 degrees Celsius and then taken into fractionating column, which constitute of horizontal trays. In this column, the vapors of petrol rises, which cools and condenses at different heights depending upon the boiling point of components, and then they are collected. Hydrocarbons which remains uncondensed passed out of the column. This process is known as fractional distillation of petroleum.
Lands in the refinery, where all the products we need every day are produced. The crude oil has to be pumped from tanks into a furnace for the distillation process, where it is heated to around 400 degrees Celsius. This results in a hot mixture of steam and fluids, which goes to this tower called a column. Here we exploit the natural temperature gradients. The hot gases rise, cool down on the way, and liquefy at their respective boiling points. The levels of the columns are so-called distillation trays, which have small domed openings. The gas mixture rises through the openings, cools down, and a certain amount condenses on the dome. This liquid is collected and removed. The substance that collects right at the bottom goes for further processing in another column under vacuum, and the residue there is used to produce bitumen, the basis for asphalt. In addition, spindle oil also settles in the first column, a key component of other refinery products. The heavy gas oil is taken from one level higher. This is used to make heating oil. The next thing produced is the basis for diesel. One level up and you get kerosene. And right at the very top is where the gases collect. These are used to produce materials for the chemicals industry and for gasoline.
Natural gas. Natural gas consists of methane. It is used to generate electricity. It is used as a domestic fuel. It is also used in manufacture of steel, glass, plastic and other product. Natural gas is used to produce hydrogen and also in the production of ammonia. Limitations of fossil fuel. The two main limitations of fossil fuels are, first, their limited availability in nature, and second, air pollution. The fossil fuels takes millions of years to form. If we run out of the existing stock of this fuel, we will not get more until natural processes have regenerated them. Second one, air pollution. Use of fossil fuels added many undesirable substances called pollutant in the atmosphere. These pollutants adversely affect the life of organism. Since the fossil fuels are available in limited amounts, it is necessary to conserve them and use them wisely. Some alternate sources of energy such as solar energy, tidal energy and geothermal energy, which can be used to satisfy the growing demands of. Now let us summarize what we have studied up to now. First, the substances may be classified as combustible or non-combustible substances depending on whether they can burn. Next topic we discussed was about the type of combustion. There we saw there are three types of combustion: rapid, explosion and spontaneous combustion. In spontaneous combustion we saw about white phosphorus, that we do not have to apply any external heat. The substance will catch fire on its own. Then we saw about combustion of hydrocarbons, that is of complete and incomplete combustion, which is taking place in sufficient amount of oxygen. We'll call it as complete combustion, and if the supply of oxygen is insufficient, then we'll call it as incomplete combustion. Then we saw about what are the necessary conditions for the combustion to take place. In that there are three main conditions. First, presence of combustible substance, supporter of combustion and attainment of ignition temperature. If all these conditions are applied, then only the process of combustion will take place. Then we saw that the color of the flame depends upon the temperature, amount of air available and the nature of the substance burning. This topic we covered in the flame. Then we saw that a candle flame may be divided into three zones. Outer zone is blue in color, as here complete combustion is taking place. Then we saw the middle zone, which is yellow in color and it is luminous part of the candle. And the last one is inner zone. It is black in color and it is the coldest part. Then we saw different types of fuels based on their physical state. They were solid fuels, liquid fuels and gaseous fuels. coal, petrol and natural gas are the fossil fuels. Yes, what are fossil fuels? The fuels which are obtained from the remains of dead plants and animals are known as fossil fuels. Then we saw about coal. Coal is a black color solid substance. Depending upon the carbon content, the coal can be of three types: anthracite, bituminous coal and lignite. Then the last topic we saw was petroleum, how it can be separated into useful substances using a process of refining of petroleum. Then the two main limitations of these fossil fuels are their limited availability and air pollution caused due to their uses. Thank you, students. Keep on learning, utilize your time and stay safe.